Our wish is to comply with the region's recommendations, and we would also hope that other parties would comply also with the resolutions of the summit, each one in its own capacity.
Well, how confident are you, Minister, that the poll will indeed be free, fair?
Every other party has to play their own part. If we all abide by those resolutions, I think the atmosphere will be absolutely conducive for elections. And I think it is also conducive to the elections as far as we are concerned, as far as the perspective of the government goes. We also believe that given the ongoing dialogue, the atmosphere will be much better. Actually, you can even see that since the summit, the demonstrations have abated a little bit. You do not have the same. Okay, of course, some violent incidents have been reported here and there, but you do not have the same vigor, as before, which is an indication for me that at least people are understanding that we need to start doing serious business of going for the polls, which we all want to have in this country, because it's only through the polls that we will be able to have elected institutions that our country needs for future. For sustainability and for our stability. We all know what it means to live in a country without elected institutions. Don't ever forget that it was because in the night of the 20 to 21st of October 1993, when the president and all the constitutional replacements were killed, that we found our country plunged in a very long civil war. So we have to be very careful not to plunge into any constitutional void.
With the dialogue coming up next week among all stakeholders, are you confident that no one is going to put new issues on the table?
I am very confident, and I also believe that we are not going to do the dialogue to restart the whole process. We go to the dialogue for us to have peaceful elections. The goal is set. Nobody is going to open the Pandora box, like whether the elections should be held this time around or not. No, there's no question. There's no question. The summit is not even questioned. The summit said that for Burundi to have peaceful polls, there's a number of conditions that need to be met. And those conditions can only be met through the dialogue. But those conditions do not include the fact whether we have the elections or not, or the fact whether the president runs or does not run. That's no longer an issue.
Well, that has been the elephant in the room, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Do you think that everyone has accepted now that President Nkurunziza will indeed run, and no one is going to raise that as a new issue come next week or beyond next week?
Whoever would raise the issue would have a problem, because then what do you make of the laws, what do you make of the institutions, and what do you make of the region? Then what was the purpose of them asking for a postponement of elections? They said they weren't ready for June the 5th. The government said we have to go to the elections because the majority of the political parties were already campaigning for June the 5th. But nonetheless, the government said, okay, we are not going to be a bloc. We are going to comply with the summit resolutions and also accommodate the opposition parties that want to have a rather extended period of preparation. Now, if they are serious about going for the polls, they should rather continue the campaign, which I know they have started. Even though they will say that they are not campaigning, we also knew that some of them were campaigning, doing some door-to-door campaign, which is allowed by the law. So we believe that if they are serious about going for the elections, they will not raise that issue again, because they know the answer that they will get from these institutions and also from the ruling party. So what we want here is for us to go for the polls, for them, for the people of Burundi, to say who they want to see in positions of leadership, including the president. Those who are opposed to President Nkurunziza, this time around they have a chance to vote against him. Now, if other people want him in power, they will also have a chance to vote. The thing is, each vote should count, including the opposition votes.
With the benefit of hindsight, is there something you could have done differently as a country over the past month and a half that could have avoided some of the things that we saw?
I think it all depends on not on what you say, but on the way you say it. I believe that there were, whether people are, in agreement with the president or disagreement with the president, that's normal in a democracy. People can voice their opinions the way they want, but peacefully. They can demonstrate. It is a right enshrined in our constitution. But do they have the right to set cars and houses, people ablaze? Do they have the right to infringe on other people's rights? Those who wanted to go to school couldn't go to school. Those who want the sick people who wanted to go to hospital could not do that. Even in some measures, even today, in some areas, they still can't go, about their businesses as they would like. So, if you want to demonstrate peacefully, nobody would question that. Wouldn't have needed all those efforts that, as you have rightly said, have been put in this matter. But I also believe that, as a country, it is important that laws are respected, that institutions are respected. Now, if the people who are not happy if some people are not happy with the decisions, there are always legal ways of dealing with legal matters. Although this matter had also some political implications, I fully agree with that, but I don't think it really deserved to cause all this chaos that we've seen in 3 or 4 areas in the capital. By the way, the media has not played this role fully, because if you are in South Africa, Johannesburg, or somewhere else, when you switch on the TV, they will say demonstrators in Burundi. They will not say in some few areas of Burundi. You had Marikana in South Africa. Was it South African? I mean, was it whole of South Africa? You recently had some incidents in South Africa with, xenophobic incidents. Is it a South African, is it something that encompasses all of South Africa? No. So I think even in the way the media have reported our country's situation, they have not been, fully, fair with Burundi. But I have to say that even if it will take only one area, it will still be a matter of concern, I agree. But in all fairness, we have to say that the country is more stable in its majority. Majority of the territory, majority of the population, they live in a peaceful environment. More than 99% of the territory and of the population are peaceful, which does not reflect exactly what we hear or read in the media.
Well, the numbers vary, but there are scores of people who have left the country who will be disenfranchised. Are you going to do something about that?
Number one, there's a war of figures here. Even the UNHCR was not able to come up with a clear figure. You remember one day they had like 72,000, and then in a matter of hours, the same people said it's 100K. So, I can tell you from the side of the government that many people have decided to come back As we speak, I think we have around 40,000 people who have come back. I mean, that was as of Saturday when I was in Dar es Salaam. And the government has also done its best. It's doing its best as we speak, because a few ministers are going to tour the region to go and convince our brothers and sisters who are in refugee camps to return back to their country, because we believe that's where they belong. You know, we are not happy when we know that one or two people have fled the country and left the country out of fear or rumors of war. You also have to know that part of those who fled to Tanzania, at least, they were returnees themselves. They used to be refugees in Tanzania and then returned to Burundi. And then while they were in Tanzania, some of them had applied for resettlement plans. They were not conclusive, so they came back to Burundi. But when they had this opportunity, some of them decided to flee in the hope that this time around their resettlement plan would work. But I don't think that is a general issue. That is a general mindset for all of them. What I'm saying is that their place of choice, their natural place of living is Burundi. And we will do our best to, sensitize them about their need to come back and take part in the vote, because we believe, like I was saying earlier, that every vote should count. Nobody should be disenfranchised for that, for a reason or another. But the truth of the matter is that there's always a psychological side to being a refugee. One can decide to stay outside the country, even if the situation has improved. I was given an example, after '94 in South Africa. Do you think that all the refugees went back home? No. But this situation was better. For those who were inside, they could say, okay, this situation has improved. But some people had that fear that, let's wait a little bit. Let's give ourselves some time, and see how things move before we can move. Those who have put their kids for education, they will say, okay, let me wait until my kids finish their education. There are so many factors that can enter. So we cannot link the elections and the return of refugees. All the government has to do is to do the maximum to get as many refugees back as possible.
And that's your news for now. Your weather